Salvation Mountain for many is an important, iconic symbol of religion and artistic expression. And to talk a little bit more about Salvation Mountain and Leonard Knight, its original creator, we have the president and CEO of Salvation Mountain Incorporated, Bob Levesque. Bob, thank you so much for taking up your time and being here with us.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. It's always my pleasure.
So, um, tell us a little bit about the current state of the mountain, Bob.
Yeah, so I'm assuming most of your viewers and readers are familiar with Salvation Mountain being a desert view. So I won't talk too much about that. But we in 2022, we felt really good about where we were at in the preservation. You know, it had been 8 years since Leonard had left the mountain and passed away. And we had done lots of consistent work and repairs on the mountain. In 2023, as you know, we had hit another El Nino, and we had a lot of rain in Niland, some devastating rain. It was a 100-year storm. So unfortunately, we did I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we did a site report in January of 2024 and took a complete view of the mountain and looked at every little nook and cranny that we could, and discovered that the excessive rain and heat in 2023 and now going into 2024 has caused a significant amount of damage throughout the mountain area. There are some pretty decent areas that still remain the way they were when Leonard was around, but we have to take on a task now moving forward to expedite our restoration and our maintenance work to try to overcome some of the damage that was sustained from that storm.
So, what is the biggest repair issues that the mountain faces?
Well, up until 2023, I would always say the museum, which is the balloon facsimile that he created later in 2004, I believe it was. That museum was created to be a dome and to represent Leonard's balloon partially inflated laying on the ground, which is pretty much the way it was always, laying partially inflated. That museum started to get significant damage because of the construction and the type of materials Leonard was restricted to use back then. And parts of it began to fall and collapse in. It still remains our biggest project, but unfortunately, since that storm hit, the Hogan, which was built just prior to the museum, which is the igloo-style building that Leonard built intending to live in, but decided it wasn't the best place to sleep at night. That began to start collapsing, so we've had to do some structural shoring up and unfortunately close it temporarily. But the biggest project still remains to be the museum. And of course, everything on the site has become a high priority with the weather and the conditions in the desert, of course.
What kind of funding, if any, does the mountain receive?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. The funding has always been based mostly on donations on site. When Leonard was there, people would stop by and donate materials and, of course, cash. He also would receive his residuals from the movie Into the Wild, which he was in, which helped him a lot to obtain materials, paints that weren't donated, and of course buy puzzles and DVDs that he loved to give away to visitors. We've continued with that tradition. We don't do anything on site to raise funds. We don't have a gift shop. We don't sell anything on site. We don't go out and ask for donations when people request tours. But we do have a donation box, and we do use QR codes for Venmo and PayPal and Zelle, three of the more predominant electronic transfers. We always ask people and encourage a donation, but that has had to be the primary source of our income. Over the past 8 years, we have been fortunate enough to receive grant funds from different foundations. Ruth Arts recently was very charitable with us. Preservation really needed some funding, and we received $50,000 from them. We're hoping to see that again in the near future. We've had several other smaller grants and foundation grants come to us that have helped to maintain things. Honestly, though, in these previous years we've had, the economy has changed. people donate less on site. And of course, everything that we use and need has gone up in price and of course continues to rise. So this year we are actually in a little bit of a deficit. It's been not our best year financially. And we sure are hoping, working diligently and hoping to acquire some more grants going into 2025 and of course the fall of 24 if we're fortunate enough to get any. So that's been the bulk of our funding. We unfortunately have always had to lean on private donors and foundations to overcome being in the red. And that, of course, has fluctuated over the years because of the nature of the climate in the desert and the visitors. COVID was a really big hit for us, like it was everyone. It was almost a year to a year and a half where the visitor base was very low. So donations at the mountain were, of course, the same. We started to recover from that in 2022, going into 2023, but funding has not returned back to what it was prior to COVID. So we're always diligently working on grant writing. We've taken on the concept that if we're going to be able to preserve this, we're going to need funding far beyond the donation box. So we'll continue to do that for as long as we can, or until we get lots more visitors come out and be very gracious with us with a donation.
So what do you see as a future of the mountain?
Well, that's a great question. We have had a vision for quite a long time for a museum, an actual museum. Leonard always called his hot air balloon facsimile a museum. He wanted back then to put all of his other artworks that he had out on display in the museum. Of course, was never finished, and it is definitely not climate controlled or protected from the elements. So we've had to write that opportunity off. But the Kohler Foundation has began to talk with us about building a museum and working with us to build a museum, hopefully within the next 3 to 5 years. So we're excited about that opportunity. Other than that, the plan that we have is to maintain Leonard's legacy and vision for forever, for as long as we can. Leonard didn't seem to care whether anyone did it first. He thought it would go back to the earth. But when he realized that there were a lot of people like me and you and lots of your viewers that love the mountain and appreciate all the hard work and dedication he put into it over the years, and love the concept of love, brotherly love, and the love of God, we've all chosen to band together and to maintain this vision and keep it going. And that vision is a simple legacy of Leonard's 40 years worth of work to share God's love and the simplicity of salvation with the whole world. So that's our goal, and we continue to do that and invite people to come and visit at no charge, take pictures and video, and share them all over the world. That was what Leonard wanted, and that's what we want to continue to do.
So what does Salvation Mountain mean to you on a personal level?
Well, on a personal level, I'm like just about every other person that's involved in this organization or that's ever visited the mountain, to come and to stand in front of this awesome site. If you've never been there, it's the size of a football field. It's about 80 feet high to the very tip top of the cross. It's such an enormous piece of handmade work that whether you're a Christian, whether you love God, or you're an atheist, we have a few atheists that work with us on our board that just loved Leonard, the person he was, and the work that he did. So it doesn't matter whether you love God or not, or whether you love your neighbor or not. If you come to Salvation Mountain, what will happen to you is you'll be moved and you'll be touched. And the experience that we promote at Salvation Mountain is that everyone have their own. And what that means is, whether you're on a pilgrimage or you're checking off a bucket list, Salvation Mountain is usually somewhere up in the top 5 to destinations. And when you come, if you've never come, you'll leave a different person. Different in maybe the way you think about life, maybe the way you think about God, maybe the way you think about the desert, or even the way you think about art in general. Art, people travel all around the country to see art and the different types of folk art environments, which Salvation Mountain is one of. And whether it's to be blessed by the art or whatever the nature may be. The personal experience for me was being touched As you know, Carlos, we've been together before and talked before. My wife is Leonard's niece. My mother-in-law was his youngest sister. And I was kind of drawn into this project by the family. Didn't really know much about Leonard or his life or his work. Once I came and saw the immenseness and enormousness of his, not only his work, but his life and what he's done with it, it brought me on a different path. It did change my life and alter the direction that I continue to walk in. And that's where I am today. And I continue to follow that path and hope for all the best for Salvation Mountain and those who come and visit.
Tell us about the Celebration of Life 2024 and Slab City Welcome Week.
Yeah, so we're really excited about the fact that since Leonard passed away in 2014, we've been preserving, without his direction, his work, and this entire site, which is really a complete outdoor museum of all of his work. And we're very thrilled that we're celebrating our 10th anniversary preserving the mountain. So while we say that it's not in the best shape right now because of the weather, we've worked diligently with a crew of people over the years. Our current caretaker, Ron Malinowski, is a tremendous asset to us. We continue to work hard on it, but our celebration is not only to celebrate Leonard's life, it's also to celebrate the preservation of his work. We'll be doing that this year in October, on October 26th. We'd like to hope that all of you'd like to come out and visit the mountain if you haven't, or come and see it again. We're inviting out all of our old mountain friends and family. There are so many from over the years. Many of us still stay in touch. So we're hoping it's going to be kind of a reunion along with the celebration. And we always have a tremendous work party that goes on where everyone can come out and work hands-on. I like to say, get up to your elbows in paint and mud. So we'll be doing that throughout the morning, and we'll stop for a lunch of all of Leonard's favorite foods, pizza, ice cream, cake, and all the goodies he enjoyed the most. After that, we're going to open up a microphone for people to share, which is something that we haven't done since the very first Celebration of Life. The first year we had a great procession where they carried Leonard's ashes out to the mountain, and we took his ashes and put it into some paint, and everybody got a cup of paint with his ashes, and they went around and painted the flowers as an enormous way to spread Leonard's ashes around where he enjoyed the most and loved. So we're going to continue that type of environment with people sharing and speaking on behalf of their previous experiences with Leonard, and enjoy the fellowship and fun of the day. And one thing we're adding, which is kind of brand new this year, is we're going to do a panel of speakers, guest speakers from Leonard's history and family, people who are very close to Leonard or who are very in depth in his history and life. And we're going to talk about Leonard's where he was raised, how he was raised, and all the fun things he did and exciting things he did, and maybe not even so many unexciting things, but we're going to share whatever we can and whatever we know about Leonard throughout his life and work and his mission to share God's love. So that'll be something that we'll add new. And we'll also talk a little bit about the history of the area. We have an architectural historian who's going to join us that is familiar with the history, Native American history, the culture of the area and the Salton Basin. Most people don't know, a little tidbit, that the mountain is actually on a ledge, which was part of the outer edge of the basin back in the late 1800s, mid 1800s. So there was water where the mountain is now. It was more like a beachfront. So we're going to try to share all these exciting things that most people don't know about the mountain and about Leonard and about the area during that activity. So it's going to be a fun day. We're inviting people to camp out, which leads to our second thing, is that the Slab City Community Group, who has been active in Slab City, our local community, off-grid community, is hosting which has been gone for quite a long time, an event that they call Welcome Week. The beginning of the fall season, which starts in October, is when all the snowbirds used to come visit, and people who are traveling RVers or van lifers, they would come out and they'd hang out at Slab City throughout the fall months when it was cool. And That hasn't happened in quite a little while for a number of reasons, but they've come together, and the community is supporting this event. And there are some sponsors who are going to help promote it. So we're hoping to see a tremendous number of RVers and van lifers come out and spend a weekend or the entire week out at Slab City. We'll kick the weekend off with our celebration of life on Saturday, October 26th. And then they're planning, which I won't announce yet, we'll keep that a secret for now, a whole week of activities going on. I can tell you that there will be a Slab City artist gathering that'll occur where the artists from Slab City will come together, do a bit of exhibiting their work. Local musicians will perform and sing. There are bands being lined up for performances at the range from Saturday, October 26th through Sunday, I believe it's November 2nd or 3rd. It'll be one whole week, 2 weekends. So we're encouraging not only you van lifers and desert dwellers to come on out, but you Salvation Mountain fans. If you come out on Friday, we'll have activities going on Friday in the evening and then Saturday all day. We'll be excited to have you be part of that. And hopefully a few other things that we're hoping to happen will be plugging into that schedule. So it'd be a great time to bring the family out. And yes, it's family environment. We'd love to have you. Many of us will be camping out at the mountain. We've got some RVs out there we'll stay in, and we'll be there with you 24/7. So we'd love to see anybody that's interested in coming out and becoming familiar with both Salvation Mountain and more than just a quick visit, along with Slab City and the local area and the exciting, fun things that happen. So we'd love to have you all come, and you can check out these details about our events at our Facebook page at Facebook at Salvation Mountain, and our website, salvationmountain.org, also has we'll have a continuing listing of the events that happen. Right now, we're just inviting people to RSVP. We'd love to see you do that so we get a good idea of how many folks are coming. There'll be some giveaways and things like that. And Leonard always gave things away to the visitors, so we're going to up that ante and have lots of fun things for people to take home.
And what are the dates again for those events?
Our big day is October 26th. We'd love everybody to come for that. But if you're willing to camp out and stay for the weekend, October 25th through November 2nd or 3rd is the welcome week. So it'll be no matter what day you come and stay or how many days you stay, there'll be something going on.
Bob Levesque, Salvation Mountain Incorporated CEO, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. God bless you guys. We'll see you at the mountain.